5, 4, 3, 2.
What makes you say that?
Hello, friends. Welcome to What Makes You Say That. This is episode 1 of a new Balmoral Hall podcast with me, Mr. Brian Williams, and of course, my esteemed colleague, Mr. John Kerr. Welcome, John.
Hello, Brian. How's it going? Nice to be here. Nice to start this off.
Well, I think it's important to quickly highlight basically who we are. And so my name is Brian Williams. I've been teaching here at Balmoral Hall. This is my 12th year here. I teach in the senior school. I also have a daughter who's in junior kindergarten. John, what about you?
It's my 16th year here at BH, and I too have a daughter in middle school. She's in grade 7, although she's probably 24, stuck in grade 7.
Oh, I hear you. So the title
is about to be 13. Yeah.
The title of the podcast is "What Makes You Say That," and I think it's fitting. It's something that you and I have, and other faculty members have said a lot in our classes. What are we going with here? What do you think of when you hear "What makes you say that"?
Well, I think for both of us, when we ask the question, it's a way of inviting deeper thinking about the topic at hand. And we talk about wait time 1, wait time 2, wait time 3. And what makes you say that is kind of how we start that. But it invites deeper thinking. And we also work from a place where the smartest person in the room is the room. And we want to have as many voices in the room as possible. And so it's an invitation to the voices in the room to make their contribution.
Yeah, and I think we're going to say what makes you say that a lot in this, maybe not in this episode, but as this podcast evolves, as we try to welcome guests and members of our community, and I think we're going to have them think about thinking as well, and try to, tell that story and have everybody in the community. We talked about changing it from a grading culture to a learning culture, and what makes you say that is one of those ways. As this is the first episode, I think it's important that we get a little bit of a routine going. And I'd like to start every episode like you start every class, and that is with a quote. So give me a quote. Sorry to put you on the spot here.
I guess it'll be a me quote.
I think that works.
I was thinking the other day that, I was handing back assignments and we're trying to wrap up all the loose ends as we transition. And I was saying, this isn't a time to ask whether I got 100%. This is a time to give 100%. So it's going to shift anyway. So don't ask, give. Yeah.
That is deep. And I think how fitting it is that we have an original John Kerr quote for the episode, or for the podcast.
I'll do better next time.
I think that's really fitting. I think we talk about grace before grades right now, and what's really important to our students and to students everywhere and to everybody is trying to break it down to giving what we have and working together to get through this. So why the podcast? What is this podcast going to be about? Well, I think it starts with who we are and why are we the ones bringing these stories to you? Well, we're both teachers at the school. We're also coaches at the school. We interact with the students, and we have a lot of great relationships and time in the school. We're also parents. John has two children. I have one, and we're also BH parents. So I think we'd like to share how important this BH community is to us by bringing people in. The why for the podcast is about community connection. It's about a way to explore and to share with everybody in our community what it means to be a part of this amazing family. Storytelling, something that if you've had a daughter in Mr. Kerr's class and John's class, he's an amazing storyteller. And through these stories and sharing and celebrating successes within the school, both big and small, I really hope, and we really want to bring people in closer than ever before to what's going on in our buildings and what makes it's such an amazing place to work, to learn, and to live. So moving forward with the podcast, again, episode 1 is a little bit, different. We're just going to highlight some things, and we have a couple guests here today too, special guests, very special guests with the head of school and also the head girl. But we'll have special guests. We'll have interviews with experts. We'll definitely welcome some guest host appearances from staff members, from faculty members, from students and other people in the BH family. But that sounds like a lot, doesn't it, John?
It's always a lot, but it's going to be fun for sure. And I can't wait.
Well, I'm glad you're here with me for the ride. It's going to be a great time, and I really hope people can get into it and get connected. Today's episode will come fast and furious. There's lots of different things that we're going to highlight today. So we'll start by taking a look at how spring break went for both John and I, and I think a few highlights from the BH Online Academy, as well as 2 very special guests before we close the show. All right. So as we have returned from spring break, it was, for me, it was one of the, I'll say it. It was the most bizarre spring break that I've had in my entire career. It was nothing like what we were used to in spring break. It was something that, for me personally, I was really happy it ended so that we could get back to work, which is not necessarily the case in most spring breaks. What was your experience, John? What was something that sticks out to you?
Yeah, just a lot of work during the break, where normally you can kind of shut her down a little bit, and you still work, but it's a totally different pace when you know that you're going to go back to kind of normal. But when we went into spring break, we knew we weren't coming back to normal.
That's exactly right. So it was not restful and it wasn't relaxing. But talking to students during spring break, they did offer some silver linings. Were you able to come up with some new routine or start something new that maybe you wouldn't have been able to?
Yeah. Well, I learned that my partner, she follows Patrick Stewart on Twitter. And I said, why do you follow Patrick Stewart? And she said, because you mentioned he was a Shakespearean actor, and he's been doing the sonnet a day. And so she mentioned that, and I thought, well, that's a great idea.
Nice.
So I stole it. We listened to 2 together, and I said, I'm just going to read them. But yeah, so I've been reading the sonnet a day, and that's great. And unfortunately, I'm on sonnet 25.
Yeah. Well, that's how you're keeping track of what day it is, because I've definitely been lost myself. For those of you who really know me, I'm not a runner. I never have been. I know, don't laugh that loud, but I did have to, literally have to start taking walks every day. And with McKinley, with my 5-year-old, we literally started walking an hour a day, and my mood was instantly lifted. It really was. It was amazing that I should have been paying attention all these times when they talk about how physical activity is good for you. So we've been doing that every day too. So anything else kind of come up in spring break that you hadn't done before or you hadn't been doing?
Well, it allowed me to get back to piano. It's nice to spend time with the music, with the instrument, and been really good letting the kids, both Mila and William, play the piano. So there's no excuse. It's not like they say I don't have time to practice. So
that's exactly it.
They've been practicing, and yeah, for sure, we definitely try to get out a little bit each day, just even a walk around the block, and in a miserable day, it helps.
Yeah, sure. And you and your son, you actually rode your bike to my place, and we got to meet in the back lane, socially distancing, of course. So it was great to see you guys. Didn't you have a birthday? It must have been a little different.
Yeah, he had a birthday. So we tried to do a Zoom with his friends, and everybody sang and that kind of thing. And William's birthday is April 1st, and I was telling I think we celebrate our birthday month, right? I mean, I'm a July baby, and I will put my month up against anybody's month as far as the best month of the year goes. And I know, I think you're an April guy too.
Yes, sir.
And I told William, I said, you know that a poet, he said that April is the cruelest month. And I could see in his face that he was offended.
Just rattled. Yeah.
But then he sees the weather so far, and he's starting to understand why Elliot might have said that. Yeah, but well, definitely important.
Yeah, I think everybody did what they could during spring break. You know, for our family, trying to find a routine was important. And when we talk a little bit about how the BH Online Academy has been going for our students, I think that's going to come up again, and how we thrive in structure, whether you're 5 years old or whether you're 35. We all need that right now, and that's kind of why these times have been tough on a lot of people. How did you stay positive?
Like I said, I'm reading a sonnet a day. No, I mean, going back to the structure, we have a team meeting each morning. We're 4 people here.
Yeah, you have to.
Both of us are working, and Mila's at school. William's going to get geared up, I think, probably next week. We put time outside on the schedule.
It has to be there.
Piano practice is on the schedule. Lunch is on the schedule. We've seen like the days that we don't follow the schedule where just make your own lunch kind of thing. And we don't take that space it's a totally different kind of day.
Yeah.
And not a better kind of day.
Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't sound like it.
So I think that's a great reminder to people who are listening that, set that structure, have that meeting, have that conversation. Even though you're in the same house, it's good to know what other people are doing in the same house.
Yeah, and you coexist, and you're in such tight quarters for so long, instead of having the work day or the school day to break it up. So it's super important. Staying positive. For me, I'm not going to pretend that I'm reading sonnets every day, but I do have to express myself, and so for me, I take it to Twitter and just been doing some short tweets about how I've been feeling, and it actually helps release a little bit how what I've been thinking through and things like that. So you can always check that out and find me on Twitter. John's not on Twitter. I've been trying to get him there, but now that
I know Patrick Stewart's there,
yeah, maybe you will. But I try to stay positive too, and I try to be a positive force, as you know. But even this spring break, I had ups and downs too, and I know that everyone did. And so I think it feels really good to be back. It feels really good to be meeting the students again and seeing how they're doing. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about next. So we have been through 1 week now of the BH Online Academy, and plus a little bit before spring break. But like we were talking about, it was really a good time for us to be back at it once spring break ended. I think, and I know John will have some things to say about this, but the class check-ins were excellent. Everybody was motivated. So I think what would be helpful now is just to highlight what's been going on in the school during this week. What are our students saying and doing, and how are they feeling? I'm going to try to touch on some experiences from each level of the school. John, I think you have some insider information about at least one grade in the junior school. How is it going, and what's going on in grade 1?
Well, there's lots going on in grade 1, and there's lots going into. I think that Ms. Schwartz and Ms. Kerr, they came to the realization that the countless hours that they've spent putting together activities for the kids take them about 12 hours a day, and the kids about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they've had a chance. They're using Zoom, and they've had a chance to connect with each of the kids. They've got real favorable feedback, some really supportive emails, and as parent, obviously when you're 6 years old, for us when we're teaching, the students, they can just log in and do their stuff. And, I touch base with Mila, say, how did it go? I know where she's supposed to be, but I don't need to help her. But when you're 6, right, just logging on, just getting the screen going and connecting is a thing. So whatever's happening for the 6-year-old is probably happening for, the caregiver parent. And I think the funniest anecdote that I heard, there was a doctor who's daughter, I was attending class, and at the end, I guess he works with kidneys. He says, "Wow, that's way harder than kidneys."
Being a teacher and organizing the grade ones, yeah.
Yeah. So Chrissy was pretty. Yeah. I mean, she's working super hard. It's really challenging, and but we do it for the kids, for the students, and like you said, when you see them, when you check in with them, it makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't imagine, how nice it is for all teachers and even the students to see their teachers' faces. But I think everybody in junior school is busy creating those experiences and those interactions, which are of utmost importance right now. And over the next few episodes, we certainly hope to touch on every grade through junior school, through middle school, and through senior school specifically, and highlight some of the amazing work that's being done as well as in other areas of the school. But that's a good start, that a surgeon is blown away by what's going on in grade one. That's a great story. Middle school, they're always seen, we hear the middle schoolers before we see them usually, but the one of the things that struck me this week in the BH community was Miss Anderson's grade 6 class and a student creating the BH Kilt Toss video. Tell me, did you see that video and what happened?
Oh, it was fantastic. I don't think. Well, I'll be honest. There wasn't a dry eye here. We watched it together, right? Because someone watches it and says, "Hey, you got to come see this because it's amazing." And then you watch it and you're just blown away by what you're seeing, and then you're blown away by the creativity and innovation and the desire for connection and the desire to, right? And then you just get blown away again, and just different levels of being blown away. But it was so good. Yeah.
And what it means, like that video sums up exactly what it means to be a part of this family, how important it is to so many people, and what
hats off for sure.
But that was very impressive, and a very nice light moment in some very difficult times for a lot of people. It's on the BH Facebook page. It's been posted. So if you haven't seen that, you must find that BH Kilt Toss video. I'm with you. I was speechless, and I'm not often speechless. So I thought it was great, and a nice, I think we all needed it as well. I think that's what we needed at the time.
I mean, I everybody who knows me knows that I don't feel bad about crying. It's,
no, really.
It's way better to cry like those kind of tears. Right. So,
yeah, I think that the middle school, there's lots more going on than that, obviously. I know that middle school is busy with doing some fantastic work. We're going to touch in with more of their teachers next episode throughout what's going on down there. To senior school, which is more of where we live. How are your students feeling? What are you gathering from them? Are they handling this? Are they moving forward? I think it's really important that we were able to connect on Monday with a lot of students right after spring break. My experience, the girls were thrilled to be there. A lot of excited faces and voices.
Yeah. And I think I've also been writing in my journal on a daily basis. And I think it was about, I could probably grab it and check the day, but I think about day 8, when I saw how my kids were doing it. And then when I got a chance to reconnect with the students on Monday, that they deserve a medal, because they've really been tremendous. Monday, to see those students sign in, be there on time, be respectful, be polite, engage with what was going on. Everybody on Monday attended my classes, and everybody on Monday was on time to the minute. That doesn't happen very often.
No, absolutely not. No, for sure not. I think I'm with you. My experience was exactly the same. Some even early.
Yeah, and that's fun too, right? You have that little chat before you start. But I mean, they're working and they're doing they're trying to make it as normal as possible. But I think the first week, I think it was pretty successful for sure.
Yeah, you referenced the medal. I think that's something that is really they've been so strong through this, at least to us and their check-ins and in our interactions. They've been very brave, but they've done an amazing job. I asked my students in some check-ins about what do they want their teachers to know, and what did they miss most about school? And they came up with some great answers. I mean, the typical answer of what they missed was the people, their classmates, the teachers, the staff in the school. Someone mentioned climbing the stairs. They miss climbing the stairs, which is like, okay, well, fair enough.
They miss that out of breath feeling when they get to the top.
The common room. And it's not the common room. It's what happens in the common room, and it's what happens in the lunchroom and by the lockers. And it's what we talked about first. It's the structure of all of it. So it's not perfect. But I think the students and the hardworking staff of the school and faculty have pushed through a week and have really set it off on the right foot. And I think that there's definitely, hope moving forward that we can do this, that will make it, and that it can be meaningful. Yeah.
I mean, I'll throw in a little story here, a little anecdote, if I have a chance. But I was listening to an interview with Adam Levine, and he's in self-isolation, but he said, "Hey, I got an opportunity to pick up a guitar and an amp and play in my garage, and I don't get to do that normally." And he referenced the idea that as adults, anyway, we're revisiting our adolescence, because in many cases, adolescents spend a great deal of time with themselves, trying to figure it all out. And I thought it was just a really apt metaphor for what we're all going through, because, at the end of the day, we're all competent, capable adults, but we're entering an unfamiliar world. And that really is at the heart of adolescence, right? They're totally capable. They can totally do the things that they need to do. And it's just about familiarizing themselves with their world. And like I said, I taught for 20 years. And this week, it's like week one. I feel,
yeah.
I feel like I'm back in my first week of teaching. And it's a tremendous experience. There's value to experience, but because we haven't had a lot of experience with this, and we don't really know where this is going, it's not of a huge benefit. So, and if you don't have the experience, right, you got to work harder. And so it's been a tremendous, tremendous amount of work.
Well, I believe that was a metaphor. And I think that if it hasn't happened yet, it will. But every time John has a metaphor, we are going to highlight that with a sound. Yeah. And if it hasn't been played yet, it's going to be played now. Here's the moment. Here, every time there's a metaphor, and there will be. Let's hear that sound. We are joined now by the Balmoral Hall Head of School, Mrs. Joanne Kamins. Mrs. Kamins, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks, Brian. I'm really happy to be here.
So you've been communicating with families and with staff and students, I'm sure, and probably asking everyone else how they're doing. But we'd like to start by asking you, how are you doing?
Thanks, Brian. You know what? I think similar to everybody else, it's been up and down. I have times like like others where it's just, you feel so alone because of the isolation. And then other times when I'm online, working, helping plan for a school reopening, that I feel hopeful about how we're moving forward through this.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody's feeling that way, and I think the ups and downs are certainly more pronounced these days. The school has sent out a lot of communication, keeping everybody in the community informed. And as a BH faculty member, but also BH parent, I've appreciated the level of communication very much. But you can't say everything in these messages. So what are some key things that you're really hopeful that our students and families have heard from the school so far?
I think first and foremost, to let everybody know that we care about you and we are here for you. Whatever you need, please let us know. Let your teacher know, let your principal know, let myself know, and we will do what we can to help you through this time, because this time will come to an end, and when it does, we will be here to welcome you back.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I think that's very clear. I think that message has been out there too, but I think that's really important for everybody to hear. I know for me personally as a teacher, one of the things I miss the most is the people and certainly the students. I'm sure you feel the same way. So if I could give you an opportunity to say one thing to the BH students, if you could speak to them all right now at once, what would it be?
As you mentioned that, I'm caught with emotion, Bryan. I just want to thank the students for what I call the BH buzz that they're giving me, and I'm sure many others. That Kilt Toss that hit online was just brought tears to my eyes. Pink Shirt Day, what our prefects have been doing, the little clips here and there. I've had the opportunity to pop in and out of different classes over these past couple of weeks, and just the engagement and the commitment of the girls is I'm just so proud of.
Yeah, the Kilt Toss video was something that I think anybody who saw it was blown away, and certainly speechless.
Yeah, it brought tears to my eyes. Like having a tough day, and then to see that come forward from the students unprompted was just amazing. It really touched my heart.
Absolutely, and you are not alone there. Well. Thank you very much for taking the time again to join us on the podcast, and I'm hopeful that you'll be willing to come back on a future episode as we make it through this very uncertain time together.
Thanks, Bryan. Absolutely would look forward to speaking again.
Thank you very much. What makes you say that the Balmoral Hall podcast is meant to connect the community? It's meant to bring us all together. So we want to hear from you. We want to hear questions. We want to hear about what you want us to talk about. We want to answer your questions. We want to be interactive. So if you have a question or if you have a topic that you'd like the show to discuss, please send us an email at bhpodcast@balmoralhall.ca. Again, that's bhpodcast @balmoralhall.ca, and we'll take in all those questions and plan the recordings from those. Coming up next, a quick chat with our head girl, Lauren Burns. All right, well, we're extremely pleased to welcome Balmoral Hall School's head girl, Lauren Burns, to the podcast. Good afternoon, Lauren. How are you doing today?
I think I'm doing okay now. Yeah.
Just okay. How have you been keeping busy?
Well, I've been trying to kind of balance my schoolwork with hanging out with my family. I've been watching movies, going on walks, and just getting outside to kind of not feel so locked in my house.
Fair enough. And obviously you've had the opportunity for a few fun Flipgrid check-ins for some of your favorite teachers.
Yes, of course.
So I just wanted to touch base with you. This is obviously a different return to spring break than anyone expected, and for sure for you to have expected in your grade 12 year. I just like to know, how have you handled moving to having classes online? Has it been a pretty easy transition? Were we prepared for this? How's it been going?
I think it's actually been quite simple, just because a lot of our teachers are already online and we already kind of go through Teams and pretty much everything that we do. So that part is pretty simple. I think just what's challenging is not getting up and moving around in the day. And that was definitely a big change for me, because everything is already online when we're at school, but the environment's so different. And so that actually changed how I learn a lot, which is what I found.
And so how have you heard some of your classmates, have they handled the shift pretty well as well for the most part?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's still a challenge, definitely. Having a good idea of what we're supposed to be doing and following that kind of schedule, but we've been FaceTiming each other and kind of keeping in touch. And so that definitely helps to keep on track.
Fair enough. And I guess just as you were mentioning, the shift wasn't as drastic as maybe for some other grades or some other classes, as most of your classes are already online. So you're feeling pretty confident that, with a little bit of extra work and adjustment, that we're all going to make it right to the end of the year. Pretty good.
Yeah, hopefully.
Sounds good. So just the last question here. I do appreciate you taking the time to join us. But as head girl, you're often in most assemblies and different events, you're the face of the student body, as you know. So I'm just wondering if it's important for them to see you, and what message would you have for all the BH students who are undoubtedly missing being at BH so much right now?
Well, I think just to stay in contact, read your emails. The prefects have a ton of fun activities and ideas to keep everyone motivated. I don't know if people have seen we're starting Monday motivators, or whatever you want to call them. And Miss McDonald was getting on board with that. All the teachers have helped definitely put some cahoots together. So just to stay on track. And we really want to keep bringing in Spirit Week. So we're going to kind of do a virtual Spirit Week, and we're still going to have some sort of assembly next week. So just to keep in touch, because we have lots of fun things to keep everyone engaged.
All right. Well, thanks, Lauren. You and the prefects have done such an amazing job all year. I'm sure it's going to be great, and it'll be nice to kind of gather, even if it's virtually, as a school in some of these assemblies. So I wanted to thank you again and wish you well. Have a great rest of the week here, and we look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye.
Well, friends, that wraps up episode number 1 of What Makes You Say That. I certainly hope you enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed the stories today. We have lots more to come with different segments, fun segments, interesting segments, we hope. So please plan to join us again for episode number 2. I want to have a big thank you to our guests, Mrs. Joanne Kamins, head of school, and of course, head girl Lauren Burns. It was amazing to hear both of them on the pod today. And of course, as always, a great big thanks to Mr. John Kerr. Any final thoughts today, John?
It was fun, Brian. Real pleasure to join you here from my gentleman's cavern in the basement of my house, where I try to keep the kids at bay for the hour. And but good to see you, and thinking about the BH community, thinking about the BH family, and just I'll reiterate what we said at the beginning. This isn't about getting 100%; it's about giving 100%. But great start. Nice to see you.
And with that, we'll wrap up episode 1. Be sure you join us for episode number 2. I also want to have a huge shout out to producer Chris in the booth. And of course, by booth, I mean his house. We've already started planning episode 2 with a few new segments, but lots of good stories again. What's coming up in the next one, we'll have a week in review, kind of how was the BH Online Academy, what highlights can we draw from. We're going to talk to members of the faculty from all 3 levels of school, including an in-depth interview with Jennifer McDonald, our university guidance expert. That's all coming up, plus a roast the host fun segment that allows both John and I to test each other's knowledge on stuff we probably should know. And hey, if there's anything that you want us to talk about or any type of questions or trivia, please don't hesitate to contact the show at bhpodcast@balmoralhall.ca. See you next time.
What Makes You Say That is a Balmoral Hall School podcast, all rights reserved.